Hello, my beautiful doves. I nerd out over silly things, and one of them being OCs. I feel like within the OC space, there's an emphasis on creating the coolest, most unique looking character, Whether your character have three wings, your character have a black hole for an eye, or your character grew up in an abusive household and one day she found out that her family, in an effort to pay off their debt, has sold her off to be a slave for the girl group Cat's Eye. But what happened when your OC lives in a slice of life story where the most life changing thing about them is their crush confessing to them or them having the diary read by their parents? My character design taste is rather simple and realistic compared to what I've seen popular in the art community. Now, that's not to say that I am special or quote unquote not like other artists or anything like that. I'm just not a detailed person. So when I see a character with multicolored hair or with lots of accessories and patterns, I immediately lose all the motivation to draw. I am drawing all that. I prefer to look at the bigger picture, aka I want to draw cute anime boys and girls kissing, and I want to draw them now! That doesn't mean that I don't like fantasy story, but my type of fantasy is more so Mob Psycho and Delicious in Dungeon rather than Genshin Impact and Fear. You know what I mean? As such, the setting to my story is equally as simple. My characters don't live in a fantasy land where dragon exists, nor do they live in a world where they have to fight monsters to level up. They just live in the real world, your world, where people go to school, graduate, and work. And on the weekend, they might go do some groceries and relax if they have the time. Nobody have odd unnatural color hair like in Yu-Gi-Oh or Horimiya, and if they do, it's more so because they purposely dye them, not because their parents genetically have it, you know? But then that warrants the questions. How do you make unique character designs in such a plain setting? Realistic design does not equate to boring, but it does require a different kind of attention. Focusing on traits that are often overlooked, like teeth, eyes, small quirks in expressions, or everyday mannerisms. These understated details are what allow grounded designs to become memorable. Creativity thrives under certain limitations, and as much as I like me some cool exaggerated character arts, hey, no shame if your character look like it's been drawn by somebody with a DeviantArt account. I respect that, genuinely. By stripping down all the accessories, all the supernatural elements, and focus on the bare bone, realistic, physical traits, you can learn a lot about character designs and what make them compelling. Despite having such a basic character design, black hair guy falling in love with the white hair guy, the Summer Hikaru dies surprisingly have some very memorable character art. Why is that? I think it's in part because the characters don't look perfect. They have flawed characteristics that real life people would have. Hikaru with his cheap tooth, Yoshiki with his moles, and Rie actually looking like a middle-aged woman instead of an anime girl with a few wrinkles. Like, the character from that manga actually look their age, and that would make it so refreshing. Obviously, there's so much more to character design than just the one that I'll be talking about here. So if you have any more ideas, feel free to leave them down in the comment. Treat this video as more of a forum or like an idea post rather than an opinionated "you doing character design wrong" type of video, And of course, these tips is applicable to all type of character designs. So whether your character is a fantasy, dragon rider, or a regular high school student, I believe that by highlighting these more underrated traits, we can all create more well-rounded and unique character, regardless of the genres.
Hello.
Well, hi!
Name's Bruce. It's alright, I understand. Why trust a shark, right?
There used to be this drawing advice that if your style is more cartoony, anime-esque adjacent, that you shouldn't draw visible teeth on your characters because they look weird and uncanny. The best you could have went was just to draw a straight white line and call it a day. But after being in the drawing scene for a while, I would highly disagree with that statement. Look at this, and tell me that you shouldn't draw teeth on anime character. Nah. I've never seen My Hero Academia, but I have to say, the author can draw some amazing teeth. But notice how these teeth are not perfectly straight either. My favorite drawings are usually those with unusual setup teeth. Prominent canine, protruding bunny teeth, tooth gap. I especially love this detail of artists drawing the character with uneven sets of teeth because it gives so much life to the character. People often see these traits as flaw and try to fix them, but to me, they are what make a face memorable. Real people have unique sets of teeth. It is normal for them to be a bit uneven so long as they don't hinder on your regular daily function. What's unnatural is this perfectly straight smile that you see in Hollywood movies. You just have to see the before versus after picture of celebrities getting veneers to notice how unnatural these straight, pearly white Hollywood smile look on a person. It is uncanny. It makes the person loses all their charms, in my personal opinion. Imperfection is good. I understand that uneven teeth might not be attractive to some people. Hell, my parents made me hand retainer when I was a kid too. But regardless of whether you think crooked teeth is attractive or not, you cannot deny that a character having imperfect teeth is so much more expressive and memorable than those that don't. Crookedness does not mean bad. There's a certain charm, a certain humanity in an imperfect smile. This is a really subtle detail. I don't know if anyone noticed, but Hikaru from the Summer Hikaru die has a snaggle tooth. It is a small detail, but it adds so much to his personality. Snaggletooth is often seen as the sign of youth. Notice how when people with a snaggletooth smile, they just have a certain irreplaceable charm to them. Different artists have different ways of drawing this type of teeth, but the way the artist made Hikaru's tooth look a little chipped, similar to how a kid who carelessly bites too much when he was younger and ended up chipping a little bit of his tooth, just already tell me so much about Hikaru's character just from the first glance. That tooth is so crucial to Hikaru's character. Like, if you remove it, he would just look like any tragic, spiky, white-haired character out there. He doesn't yeehaw anymore, okay? He just bland. I'm sorry.
Shut the hell up, Deku. I'm going fishing.
Why the hell did you turn southern?
That's what happens when we go fishing, Deku.
This is my OC, Sora. He's quiet and doesn't talk much. A man of little words, he prefers to express his feelings through actions. Not because he thinks words are shallow, but more so that he's better at doing things than speaking his thoughts. When he talks, the word that he wants to say, the sentence he prepared beforehand, never comes out the way he wanted them to, and it makes him feel stupid. For a character whose personality is so introverted, I decided to give him prominent canine teeth. I've read Fangs, and how the author drew canine teeth in that manga is so innovative that I want to replicate that. But also because it gives him a certain edge, a youthful kind of look that complements his delinquent appearance and contrasts with his quiet personality. Teeth are incredibly versatile in that not only you can make your character more interesting to look at, but also makes them more expressive. To show your teeth, you physically have to move your mouth wide open, and that in turn exaggerate the character's facial feature. And for a character who prefers to not open his mouth, on a few occasions where he has to, you will see his prominent canine teeth, and it makes the moment all the more special, I think. In real life, Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander, have a rather prominent canine, and I absolutely love it. When he smiles and his eyes lit up, You can visibly see his canines and it gives him such an intimidating, unhinged look. Like, he makes me feel ill and sick to my stomach whenever he's on screen. And I love it. Do crooked teeth have to be pretty? No. But would they leave a bigger impression on me as a viewer? Absolutely. Therefore, if you think your character is a bit bland or they bland on purpose, but you still want to give them that little oof that make them more special looking, consider giving them some uneven teeth. Such imperfection can create some friction in an otherwise bland design. Quick inventory intermissions. So I have a lot of people asking what brushes I use, so here we go. The main brush that I use for coloring is a customized brush that I made for myself to replicate that watercolor-ish feeling while also allow you to create texture at the same time. And the brush that I use for line art and for manga is this brush over here. I mainly use it to create texture, hatching, and draw in a manga style. And if you're interested in this brush, they are available on my Ko-fi, which can be found under the description. And yeah, thank you. Now back to the video. Eyes. They're the first thing that us anime weebs draw. So infamous and prominent, in fact, they have created so many memes mocking us weebs for drawing unrealistic, giant, unproportional eyes. And you know what? In honors of those memes, I will provide you even more ways to draw anime eyes, because the first step to becoming an artist is that you need to accept who you are, okay? And that's a major weeaboo. And secondly, I'm not talking about how to render eyes. There are a gajillion ways to do that. I'm talking about other aspects of the eyes, like the eye shapes, brows, and eyelashes. Very subtle details that I believe can make a difference to the overall look of the character. But of course, changing the eye shapes might not make much of a difference depending on your art style. But usually if you draw in an anime style where the eyes are basically 80% of a character face, the shape of your character eyes do make a difference. Just look at Alien Stage, for example. Different artists have different ways to approach eyes. For some, eyes are the focal point of their art. Was for some artists, they're just black dots. But there are also a wide variety of eye shapes as shown here on screen. A drawing detail that I also really like is when an artist can draw characters with monoliths. But the iris are not the only part of the eye that you can change for your character. The thickness of your character eyelashes and eyebrows also make a difference. Thick, sharp eyelashes can give the character a more feminine, ethereal look, while thick, rounded eyelashes make the character look soft and cute. The lack of visible eyelashes in presence of characters who do can make the former look more masculine in comparison. Furthermore, for eyebrows, thicker eyebrows can give a character a fuller, more masculine look, and thinner brows tend to make people look more feminine. And lastly, the lack of brows would give them an uncanny, mysterious atmosphere. You can't tell what this character is thinking, like are they judging you or just simply zoning out? And that's the appeal. That is why I love Alien Stage character design. Over here, you can tell that Vivinos and Qmeng deliberately assign Luca and Hyuna design tropes opposite of their typical gender presentation. Hyuna with dark skin and bushy browns, traits that are more commonly seen in male characters, and they give Luca a more feminine, bigger eyelashes and lighter skin. traits that are more commonly seen in female characters. Likewise, Mokumo Kuren Mokumo Kuren, the author of Summer Hikaru Dai, includes a lot of smaller, subtle details in their character designs. If you look over here, you can see that Hikaru has a monolith and shorter brows, while in contrast, Yoshiki has fuller lashes, what appears to be eye bags, and double eyelids. In short, eyes are a lot more interesting than first appear. When you first get into drawing, it makes sense that people would be more fixate on the iris because they are the most visible subject in an art piece. But the more you draw and be exposed to different art style and stories, the more you find out the different way artists draw the characters and how you can learn from them.
This one's Kaoru. This one's Hikaru.
Uh-oh, you got it wrong!
No, I know I'm right. You guys may look alike, but you're very different.
Body language. Here's a challenge for you. This is my character. How do you give this character a personality? It's just a head of a rabbit. He doesn't have a mouth, so you can't tell what expression he's making. Is he smiling at you? Is he inquisiting you? Or is he judging you? But that's the premise of his character in my story. You don't know who he is or what he looks like. The only information you know about him is how he addressed himself, and that is rabbit, hence the rabbit head. How creative! Peak character design, give me an award right now. An honor student but never the top at anything. Rabbit lives in a constant state of mediocrity that he desperately wishes to escape. As the third son in a family of accomplished doctors and lawyers, he's always lived under the shadow of his parents and older brothers. At 17, unlike his classmates whose height and physical maturity make up for their lack of intelligence, Rabbit remains short, underdeveloped, and painfully aware. To compensate for his tepid intellect and appearance, he stands tall, poised, and commanding to ensure that he would never be looked down upon by his peers. Yet, beneath this performance, every comments and every remark from his peers cuts him deeply. Their mockery is his greatest ire, a wound to his pride that he constantly scrambling to cover. He may look cute on the outside, but nobody knows his deepest desire, and that is to usurp his rival, the person whose the moment he enters Rabbit's life had caused him nothing but turbulence and chaos. Sora. Usurp is a nice way to describe whatever is happening in this picture. But notice how Rabbit can host a wide variety of contrasting personality just from changing his body language and gestures. One moment he can look cute, and the other, if I draw him with his hand folded, like crossed to one side, he's arrogant and calm. I love character design that purposely created to deceive you. Characters that are drawn so simple that you don't know what they're thinking, but deep inside, they can commit some heinous crime. Think Hello Kitty when you found out that she's being arrested for burglary. Another example is Fred McGraw from Wallace and Gromit. Kill chicken until you realize he's already tied you up, locked you in the basement, and then robbed you dry. I like that. I like me a cute little buggler. Similar to how two people can look the same, but you can tell them apart from how they behave and act, characters also work the same way. Kaboru and Hikaru, despite sharing the same color palette and gay, cannot be any more different from each other. One is a yaoi god and the other a yaoi gremlins, demons, biblically accurate angels, aliens. But just from their body language and poses, you can tell that Kaboru is calm, kind, and wise, like an angel, and Hikaru is loud, energetic, and free-spirited, like a toddler who just experienced the world for the first time. Hell, isn't the whole premise of the Summer Hikaru Die that the creature, despite looking like Hikaru and possessing his personality, over the course of the story, is no longer like Hikaru because the creature has developed his own personality, independent of the memory and personality that Hikaru gave him. As such, mannerism, how your character pose, behave, and act when they're relaxed, is a crucial part to character writing, and it is an aspect that's worth ruminating over. What type of face your character makes when they zone out? Is it a resting bitch face, neutral, or a slight smile? How they sit? Is it cross-legged, leaning over, or with their back straight? How do they pose when standing? Slouch, poise, or in between? So, even if your character is boring or bland, you can make them more interesting and more striking by drawing them in different posture and mannerisms. The world is your oyster. Go draw! So this is the end of the video. If you want to hear more from me, I am currently writing a comic as a way to challenge myself artistically, but I also post some fan art and opinions about art here and there. You can always follow me on socials, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. I'm sure that there are many ways to make your OCs even more interesting, but I obviously could not include every single one of them. So if you have any ideas, suggestions, or even criticisms, feel free to comment down below. I enjoy having conversations about writing, anime, and character designs. That's why I created this channel in the first place. I understand that my knowledge and opinions do not encompass every single opinions or experience out there, but I love to learn more. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video or the next post. I'll try to post more shorts. Bye!